Leonie will be able to tell you when the next one comes. He's done. Ah, okay.
No, he's down.
Hi, Lori.
What time is it? 5:59.
Hi, Lori.
What Are we on?
Yep.
Well, you gotta wait a minute because it takes a minute for the attendees to all pop in.
Okay.
We're up to 4.
You think we're good, Dave?
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to open the select board meeting, May 27, 2021 at 6:05 p.m. We're going to call the order. This is a public hearing, a public meeting, excuse me. I'm going to take a roll call. Sheila?
Here.
Pat?
Here.
Ed?
Here.
And Mike is out of town. Good evening, everyone. This is a virtual Board of Selectmen meeting. We're using the Zoom conferencing format. The webinar ID is 945-4042-5917. If you wish to make a public comment and speak on an agenda item, please use the raise your hand feature on your device. The moderator will be notified and will unmute you. Please identify yourself before making any comment. Item 2, approve the May 13th, 2021 Selectmen's minutes.
So moved.
I have a first.
Second.
I have a second. Okay, roll call. Sheila?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Ed?
I wasn't here. I was with my dad.
Okay, that's right. Alan says aye. Motion carries. Public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone who wants to address the Board of Selectmen with any issue that is not on the agenda.
So I would like to address the selectmen and the general public and introduce our new Parks and Rec Director, Stephanie Simpson, who's with us this evening. Stephanie began her duties on Monday of this week. Stephanie lives in Kennebunkport, but she comes to us from Illinois, where she has many years of experience in recreation, and she's really hit the ground running, and I wanted to let her have an opportunity to introduce herself to the public.
Thank you. And thank you for having me at the meeting tonight. So just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I've got over 25 years of recreation experience, all in Illinois, but I do have a connection with Kennebunkport. Back in 2016, I came to visit the area, and my husband and I fell in love with the area. So we pulled the trigger and we bought a condo in 2017 and have been spending lots of time out here since then. So once I saw the job posting for the Director of Recreation, I thought this is a dream come true that I could be in a place I love, doing what I love. So I'm very happy to be here and looking forward to meeting everybody and just getting to know the area better.
Living the dream.
Yes. All my stars aligned.
Well, you'll have a lot of fun this summer for sure.
Yes, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else for a public forum? Any hands raised at all or anything? Okay. This is a public hearing to consider applications for the vitulis licenses for a period from June 1st, 2021 through May 31st, 2022.
So we're going to bring Werner Gilliam up in
Okay.
case anybody has any questions about the Vittler licenses.
This is a public hearing, so I'm gonna open the public hearing now. Is there any hands raised at all or anything for any questions about the vitulis licenses? Warner, do you have anything to say?
So we have a couple that I think we're going to suggest that they be given a conditional approval. So we have Satellite Donut and Aunt Marie's that are currently not open, and so I suspect they will more than likely open, sometime this summer, but they're just not ready yet. So, so we suspect that they'll get in touch with us whenever they're ready, for their inspection. That one, as well as the Mainstay Inn, is currently being renovated and under construction, and also just isn't ready for inspection. So likewise, they'll get in touch with us, and we'll be doing inspections there as well, for their license when they're ready.
So we'll do two motions, one to approve the vitulas licenses for the ones that's been inspected, and the other three that will have a motion for a conditional approval. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and do the slate with the exception of Satellite Donuts, Aunt Marie's, and the Mainstay on the first motion.
Second.
So moved.
I have a
All right.
question.
Yeah,
On the sheet that I have, there are a few more that aren't highlighted in yellow.
they've been inspected.
They haven't.
So when we sent that sheet out to you on Monday, that was correct. But Codes and Planning continued to meet with businesses this week. And
All right.
that's correct, Werner. And so they've since updated it, but they hadn't done them as of Monday.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a motion on the floor to go ahead and approve the vitulas licenses with those three exceptions.
I'll second that.
And I have a second. Okay. So I'm going to close the public hearing before this vote goes through. So public hearing's closed, and I'm going to take a vote. Sheila?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Alan says aye, motion carries. So I'd like to have another motion for the conditional approval of those other three.
So moved.
Second.
And again, those other three under the conditional approval is Satellite Donuts, Aunt Marie's, and Mainstay Inn. And I have a first and a second. And I'll take a roll call. Sheila?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Alan says aye, motion carries. Okay, 5, consider renewal liquor license extension submitted by Ches Rosa LLC, DBA Ches Rosa, located at 2 Ocean Avenue, Building D. The chief has recommended approval of the license with the condition that the fire chief has listed in his memo attached, which is, I think, the gate was locked, and I think they have to remove the gate lock.
Yeah, and Shea Rose is here, and they've got their hand raised. We can let them up. But we did make contact. Staff made contact with them, and they said that during when the restaurant is open, that padlock is taken off. It's just they haven't opened that area, so the padlock's on right now.
Okay. So
But we can certainly
they have
let
their
them
hand
talk.
raised? Yeah.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Jasmine Saraya, and I'm one of the owners at Shea Rosa. I was contacted this morning, and I just clarified that the gate is closed right now for security purposes. But when the restaurant is open or there's staff setting up for service, that gate is fully open.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Anything else? Okay. I guess not. Okay, so
I'll
I have a-
second the motion.
I have a first and a second. Okay. So Sheila,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Alan says aye, motion carries. Item 6, review pricing for geotech survey for communication towers.
And so I believe Chief Everett is here.
Yeah.
And we could bring him up. And and Chris Simeone. Chris, are you going to be speaking on the engineering piece, sir?
Yeah, I think Chief had anticipated on presenting the quotes and.
Okay, good. Take it away.
All right, good evening. Trying to hit the ground running if the bond goes through for the other part of the radio system money. We got talking about what things we could possibly be doing ahead of time, and one of those things was doing the getting the geotech work done, which is the finding out what's in the ground work for the foundations of these towers. So we contacted 3 companies. One, SW Cole, we did not get any pricing back as of today, but we did get pricing back from 2 others. R.W. Gillespie and Associates at $6,000 and the Mainland Development Consultants at $9,750. If we get the approval to do this, the money is going to come from my Capital Radio account, because I had money in there that I'd been building up a little bit over the last few years to replace the repeater and the cabling and the antenna on the fire radio. As it's a normal maintenance kind of thing, and that was going to cost about $12,500. So we have the money there that obviously we won't be doing this if we're going in the direction of replacing.
Okay. And you would like to see R.W. Gillespie get the bid?
Yes, and talking with Chris and Eric, they've done a lot of work for the town, a lot at wastewater, and have been, good at what they do and always give us a good price.
Okay, great.
Well, then I make a motion, we award the bid to R.W. Gillespie and Associates not to exceed the fee of $6,000 as per their contract here.
Second.
I have a first. I have a second. Any more discussion? Okay, Sheila? Sheila, can you hear me?
Yeah, I said aye.
Oh, okay. Pat?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Alan says aye. Motion carries. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Item 7, consider request to fund the piping plover coordinator for the summer of 2021.
So the beach committee made a recommendation to the board to fund the piping plover coordinator for an amount up to $4,000. We have been soliciting potential applicants to do this internship over the summer. It's only 20 hours a week. It's very tight labor market, and we've had difficulty finding someone, but we would still like to get approval. We just sent out new ads again this week, so that if we find a college student that would be interested, we could, or an older person who is maybe recently retired and wants to be involved in marine biology, then we would be available to have the funding to do that.
Well, I move we approve $4,000 for a piping plover coordinator.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Any more discussion?
No, I
Okay,
think
go ahead.
it's a good idea.
So Sheila,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Alan says aye. Motion carries. Item 9, consider Arbor Day proclamation. And I think, is Sarah O'Sullivan in the audience?
Sarah Sullivan is in the audience, and we'll bring her up as a panelist, Dave. Sarah, you're making regular visits with us now.
I know. What a pleasure. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Sheila. Ed, it's nice to see you. Alan, it's always a pleasure. And Mr. Briggs, it's so fun to see you, if not in person.
Excuse me.
So this marks the annual Arbor Day proclamation. So I will just start, Lori, is that right? Thank you.
Sure.
So whereas in 1872, Mr. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Agriculture Board that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, which is called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And in 2021, as the 149th anniversary of this holiday, Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our town, here in Kennebunkport, increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Kennebunkport has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for the past 44 years and desires to continue its tree planting ways. So now, therefore, we, you, the selectmen of the town of Kennebunkport, hopefully, will proclaim today, May 27th, as the 149th anniversary celebration of Arbor Day. And that you will urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and our woodlands on this day, May 27th.
Oh, how about that? You know, great work on behalf of the Shade Tree Committee and the Public Works. And thank you, Sarah.
Oh, thank you, Alan. And Mike does such an amazing job with his team, keeping us all in alignment. So thank you all very, very much.
And thank you.
you.
Okay.
We need a motion
vote
for
on
that?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we need a motion.
Then I move that we proclaim today, May 27th, 2021 as Arbor Day here in Kennebunkport.
Second?
I have a first and a second. Sheila,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Alan says aye, motion carries. Okay, item 10, consider outdoor dining approvals for
So
restaurants.
I'm just gonna say we missed 8, which was
Yes.
discussion of streetlights.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. What'd they do that for?
Well, I thought you just wanted to get Sarah ahead.
So item 8, discussion of streetlights.
So we're gonna bring Michael Claus, and then Jim Stockman is in the audience, and we're gonna bring him up as a panelist. Michael Claus, are you here?
Yeah. There's Jim.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
You guys are up.
We're all ears.
So we've been talking to you guys for a while on streetlights. We now own our streetlights, as you know. I just want to update you guys that we have converted all of the old platter lights are now all LED. So we've done that with screw-in LED bulbs, and that's all reflected now with CMP, and we've gotten our bill down. So that's objective is done. But in going through our inventory and with the recent storms we've had, we now have 7 streetlights that have been taken down during storms or traffic accidents, and we've got to replace those. And when we discussed this previously with you, you asked us to look at the platter lights, and we said, we talked to PEMCO, which supplied our high pressure sodium platter lights, and they had told us they were going to do an LED light, and we thought that was the one we would start using for replacement. But we've contacted them and talked direct with their president, and they have suspended production of the platter light, they said because of lack of manpower and high demand for what they call our typical Cobra head LED streetlights. They don't have a date when they'll bring that platter light back, but they said it is possible it could come back in the future. They just could not give us a date. Jim did a lot of research on platter lights that would be a good light for us and something acceptable by CMP. We came up with one by King Luminaire, but it turns out it's very expensive. We just think, and by very expensive, I mean $1,000 more than a $300 Cobra headlight, typical Cobra headlight that you see out there. So we think for our 7 lights, we'd like to replace those with Cobra headlights, let people take a look at them, see what they think. If you've been in Wells recently, they've replaced all their lights with a very similar style light. Just if you drive Route 9, as soon as you cross over the Wells town line, you'll start seeing those lights on Route 9 and on Route 1 and really throughout their town. So you could see them now, but we'll get these lights up and people can take a look at them and see if they want us to just keep looking for a better platter light. But we'd like the okay to buy these 7.
Jim, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I certainly do. The PEMCO company, there's no guarantee that if they were to start manufacturing it again, their prices might be just as high as the company that we currently have a price from. I think it's important to note that there are a number of criteria that we've used to base our pricing of these units. Number one, they have to be able to survive in a salt environment, or more importantly, they have to be approved by CMP, so that even though we own them, CMP still has the say about what will go on their pole or not. So it's CMP, it's salt air, it's being able to get multiple distributions so that we can spread the light rather than having more light go on a property. All of these elements, and there are a whole bunch of more that are included in this, are all contributing to driving the price up. There are many manufacturers who make a similar fixture, but it's more of a commercial grade that you would find on a barn or in a restaurant that might be indoor, might be outdoor. That's part of the problem, and those are down in the $300, $400. I could probably find some in the $200 range. So that was the predicament. The lighting committee really wants to preserve the platter light. One of the questions is, can we afford to do it? It's not something readily available. Any company would be probably charging us somewhere around $1,000 if it meets our design criteria. And of course, if we want to reduce that criteria, we can. That's a nutshell.
Where are the 7 located, Jim?
They're all over. I know there's one that came down in one of the October storms on Wiles District that was never replaced. One of the really great things that we have done is that we could bring up a map and show you every light in town is now on a map. Mike, can we bring that up? And do you know, can you show which fixtures, or is that a technology we're not prepared to do tonight?
I think it'd be quick. We lost 2 lights on Ocean Avenue when the poles went down last summer. Then this fall we had a light go out on East Ave and on South Main Street when a tree came down there. One on Mills Road and one on Wiles District Road. And there's one more light, I don't remember exactly where it is, that's out that our contractor found. And we can get those out to you.
Yeah, my concern is that in the more historical part of the village, the Dock Square area and the surrounding areas, that we keep the platter lights. And then, as you mentioned in your note, that we can start using the Cobra lights on the outskirts of town. I mean, I think that's a great idea.
And we can work towards that.
Who are you gonna buy these lights from? Have you got that far yet?
For the Cobra headlights?
Yes.
It's a company called Comfort View out of San Jose, California. And we just, Jim did the research on that, and we got samples of the lights. We went over them with our contractor, our installation contractor. He was actually pretty impressed that for the price we were getting, the components were very good, he thought.
We also have samples here in town that we've got to work with. The company is Leo Tech, and the model is the Comfort fixture. Just to correct that one piece of information. So we've looked at the fixture carefully. It's marine grade. We've settled on a particular distribution. One of the important things is that it's the same wattage as we have currently in our platter lights. So one of the things that we've not done as part of this purchasing lights, we've really never done an analysis of where street lights are in town. Where do they need to be? The lighting committee created a questionnaire 15, 20 years ago, and it was based on zoning. It was based on vehicular traffic to come up with a system to say, is that worthy of the town buying and paying for that electricity and fixture? Or is that really for my private yard fixture that I'm getting the town to buy? And one of the things that we want to do in the future is just look at that, where we have lights that might have been part of a dead-end road with a very minimal vehicular pedestrian traffic conflict. Why should somebody in one area of town be funding that fixture in another area? Whereas the lighting in the Dock Square area or on Goose Rocks in the summer, high pedestrian vehicular conflict, even though there's a low speed. So there are some objectives here that we would like to accomplish into the future now.
So you're looking for $4,033.19 to be able to purchase 7 lights, is that correct?
We've got the money in the streetlight account. I think we felt that changing over to just buying 7 Cobra headlights when we had told you previously we were going to buy platter lights. We just wanted to get your okay on that.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Yeah. So, any more questions for Mike and Jim?
Like
Go
you're gonna replace the lights on, say, Ocean Avenue with the Cobra lights?
Well, there's 2 right across from the Oxman that the poles came down when the truck had hit the wires. When the poles came down, the lights broke. They put new poles up. There's actually no lights on the poles now. There were lights on them. And the other spot is at the corner of Cross and Union Street. I forgot about that one. That one's the 7th broken light.
So you're looking for a motion for us to be able to authorize this. So in order for us to do this, we have to have a fixed cost, which is $4,033.19. Is that correct, Laurie?
So
No.
this $4,000 is under the purchasing policy of $8,000.
Okay.
And so we technically don't need authorization, but we wanted to, this is a change, and this is why we're going through this process, and we wanted to touch base with the selectmen before we started down this path.
Does anybody else feel like we should keep the lights the same downtown?
I'm happy with this, what they want to do. I think right now, $1,400 for a platter light versus, $4,000 for 7. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer, and they don't really look that bad. I've seen them other
Well,
places.
did you see the platter lights that they sourced that Mike and Jim were able to find? I thought they were pretty unattractive. I mean, neither one of them are aesthetically beautiful. The one that's in our packet is a pretty gaudy looking thing. It doesn't look anything like the platter lights that I believe I'm familiar with. The one looks like it's got a corrugated pie plate above the light. Is that correct, Jim?
Yeah, that is correct. I'm not sure the line drawing does it justice in terms of looking at it. Here again, before we go off and spend that kind of money for a platter light, we're getting samples coming in from the factory for us to evaluate, to look at. So, and we're still looking for that company that can be of utility grade and do it. The other thing is that if we go to these new lights, they meet our current ordinance. And actually the street lights here in town, by definition, do not meet our lighting ordinance and have never met it because the light is sitting below the platter. So before we go off and buy that particular fixture, we're going to have samples to review.
Good.
Okay.
Well, I'm fine with this. What about you guys?
Well, as a matter of public safety, we're better off to have some lights that perhaps weren't our first choice as opposed to have no lights, or because it doesn't really sound like these platter lights are even an option at this point.
So let's just take a vote. How about a motion?
So move. We buy 7 Cobra lights.
Second.
I have a second. Any more discussion? Okay. Sheila,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Alan says aye. Motion carries.
And, if people object to them, we can move these.
Oh, I just noticed that David James has his hand up.
Can you hear me now?
You can.
Okay, just for those of us not in the know, what is the difference between platter and Cobra lights? Are platter lights what we've always had?
Yes and no.
Yes.
Well, yes, in certain parts of town, David, we do have these platter lights, but I do believe we have Cobra lights. If not, they're ubiquitous. I'm trying to find my picture, and maybe you can see it if I hold it up to the webcam here. I don't know if this helps at all. Can you see that? That's the Cobra light right there. And
Okay.
then this is the platter light, and I'm not really impressed with the look of it, but again, it's a picture. Maybe in person it looks a lot better.
No, that is the wrong fixture. That
Okay.
illustration is totally that illustration does not meet our ordinance. So we're not getting a dropped glass basket on the fixture. So that is not the correct fixture. When the time comes, we will supply you with the correct illustration for that. I thought I had caught that with Mike and I and wanted to get that changed.
No big deal, Jim.
I had thought that we were going to try to replace them with it. The lights that we had is kind of a dish tape thing and a light bulb underneath it.
That is correct.
Okay. But neither one of those seem to look like that.
That is correct. So if you could hold up the Cobra head again, the Cobra head is what we're looking to because it's less money. The platter light, which is more money, we're still working on trying to find something that will work in terms of cost and still meet all of our design criteria.
Okay, are the pictures of these included in the Selectmen's packet? Okay, I will check those out. So that's enough for me. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
David.
Dave.
I have just one more question. So if we, are these lights interchangeable in that down the road, if we can get platter lights, can we put them back onto Ocean Avenue and then remove the Cobra light and put it someplace else?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that may be a good option, Sheila. It's a good idea.
Yeah. There would be a cost in that we're paying our contractor to do that work, but it can be done.
Well, we have a charming little town. We want to keep it charming.
We all set?
We all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, item 10, consider outdoor
But
dining.
we have a motion, don't we, Alan, that we need to
Yeah,
vote
but we
on?
voted on it already.
We did? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, you did vote, and then I interrupted you, but I
Oh.
lost track too, Ed. I had to go back.
Okay.
The only reason I know we voted on it, I checked it off.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Item 10, consider outdoor dining approvals for restaurants. I think I see Werner and Laurie might want to have something to say about this. Before we move on.
So I'm going to let Werner very succinctly and directly tell you what some of the challenges are we have. But basically, as you know, on Monday, many of the regulations in regard to the pandemic were changed. And that included indoor capacities for restaurants and other businesses. So the selectmen had been authorizing approvals for the use of public spaces and the use of outdoor dining and signage and all kinds of different things during the pandemic, which I think was very well received, and it was a great asset for not only the businesses but the general public. So as we enter this new phase, my concern is, how do we transition back? And the other issue is that the selectmen's authority to authorize these types of allowances will go away as the emergency order goes away at the state level. So I have asked the state if the governor plans to continue extending the emergency order or whether she will take it back or let it lapse is a better way to say it. And what I have heard is that probably it will lapse this summer. So whatever that means, whether that's in June, July, August, I don't know. And so right now, the current emergency order is, I think, valid until like June 12th or June 13th. So we know about, you have that authority through them. I don't know anything after that date. The other concern is that when the state has made these changes, they have not given towns or cities any additional heads up. So we find out when the general public does. And that's usually the day before or the day of. And so I also want to just make sure businesses are aware of some of these issues, and so nobody likes surprises, and that we can plan for a smoother transition as possible. So they hit a variety of different issues, whether that be the use of public property or an extension of signage, or they're not having to go through site plan review for planning board. So I'm going to turn it over to Werner at this point.
Hey, Werner.
Hello. So Lori actually spoke to most of my points. What we had is we had 14 businesses that applied for, these allowances, and that included things like outdoor seating on their property, outdoor seating on town property, signage. Some did, had some outdoor retail, tents, and curbside pickup. And so if you remember, whenever we discussed this, we allowed these allowances for the restaurants. I'll speak to those primarily. And it was not so that they could exceed their seating that they had historically received licenses for, but it was to, give them some outdoor options when the insides were shut down. And so, we all know that was pretty well received, and I think everything worked pretty well, in terms of with the businesses. My sense going into the summer is that, most consumers are going to continue to be more comfortable with outdoor dining options this season. And so, as Lori said, we're coming up on a point here where, we want to be, we want to be communicative with our businesses and letting them know, what to expect, in terms of a timeline. And, so my intention is to notify everyone, but I'd like to have some guidance in terms of what this looks like. There are few that, that I think that can, keep, the outdoor options that they've had. So far, the only one that I'm aware of is Lost Fire has been working on a site plan that would potentially allow for their outdoor seating to remain in place.
Okay. So it's great to be able to bring this up. And by the way, is there anybody out in the public that wants to comment on any of this? Is there any hands raised or anything?
I'll begin.
Got a hand up.
Go ahead, Sheila.
I'll begin by sort of repeating myself from before, and that's the fact that these are businesses that had no business for a year, or many of them did not have business for a year. I don't believe this is the time for us to start pulling their, what they can do in order to recoup some of that money, or at least have a successful summer. And I'm hoping that there's some way around this that we can allow these businesses to continue for just this summer. I just think it's like kicking someone when they're down. That's what it is to me.
Well, the other thing I see is that they've already made the investment in the various things that they put out there. And to recoup the investment, they need to use them. So I think pulling them back now before the end of the summer is probably an expensive operation that we don't need to do.
What about you, Ed?
So am I to understand that if the governor's order for emergency powers goes away, then all of the ordinances that we have passed, or emergency rules, I guess is a better way to put it, go away as well?
Our emergency ordinance is premised on the fact that the governor has declared a state of emergency.
Right. Okay.
I wonder if she is alerted to these kinds of situations, because we can't be the only town that is going through this. Whether that maybe she could make some changes, or maybe keep the emergency thing going until the end of the summer. I don't know.
Well, I think it's up to individual towns as to how they want to handle it. She set up the criteria in the beginning of what we needed to do to protect the health and well-being of everyone. And everybody made the investment into this process. I think it's kind of foolish to ask them to take everything down that they've already paid, to set up and gone to the expense and so forth. It's just, it's not like turning on the light switch,
And not only that, but there are a lot of people who still are uncomfortable going places. I mean, I went food shopping yesterday, for example. I went to Hannaford, and that's it's optional. Masks are optional. Half the people were walking around without, and the other half were walking around with. And so you're going to get a number of people who are still not comfortable being inside. And I think this has a lot to do with, us trying to help keep the outdoor areas open.
Well, consider this aspect as well. Only half the people in Maine basically have been vaccinated. So you still have half the people out there that could conceivably transmit the disease. And, you know, if you say, okay, we're going to take away these things, which are done for a good reason, I just think it's foolish and not necessary. I think each town can decide what they want to do. I don't think the governor tells us whether we can do this.
So the only authority we have on these allowances we've created is really from the town meeting vote that authorized you that if the governor declared a state of emergency, then you had additional powers.
Right.
And when that governor's emergency order goes away, so do those additional powers.
Okay, that's fine. So we had the authority when we said you can do it for the summer. That hasn't changed, in my view.
I'm fine with leaving, you know, allowing them to have their expanded outdoor. But what I'm not okay with is allowing them to expand their overall seating capacities. As long as they don't exceed what is on their vitular licenses, then you'll get no arguments from me.
So what you guys are trying to say is just ignore everything and let's just keep on going the way we are?
Why not?
Yeah.
She ignores us. We can ignore her.
So we do have people in the audience that have their hand up that would still like to speak.
Yeah. Who's up?
Christmas Prelude. They're muted. Nope.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I have the wrong person on here as my name. It's Tina at the Nonantum. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Last time I used this Zoom, I was doing a Christmas prelude thing. I'm so sorry.
I thought you wanted to be incognito.
No, I'm not incognito. Can we put a camera? Are we allowed to be on camera or is it only voice?
No, you can be on camera.
Okay. Well, I'm not getting any.
There you are.
There she is.
Hi. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thanks so much. So it's Tina Hewitt-Gordon at the Nonantum and Taylor Benetti from Hurricanes. We're also known as Christmas Prelude. First of all, both of us would like to thank all of you for all the help and support that you've given us since last March when all of this insanity happened and allowed for all of the variances and all the different crazy things that we needed to do to be able to survive. And Sheila, I appreciate your words of support of the business climate as it is, and the fact that it's going along pretty well, and can we continue to do it? I think Taylor and I are both here to say thank you so very much. We absolutely would love to continue doing what we're doing. And Ed, I hear what you're saying about not expanding our capacity. Neither one of us want to do that. In the current labor situation, we don't have the ability to do that. So I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is to be getting inside and out without exceeding our capacities. And Lori, I hear what you're saying about the state of emergency going away and your authority going away. But I did check on the state level, and I believe, and maybe it's different when you go from town to town, but that you, as the Board of Selectmen, would have the ability to be able to vote to allow a grace period to extend some of these privileges. I mean, I'm not a municipal lawyer, and I didn't speak to a municipal lawyer, but I question whether you.
We can't hear you.
Tina, you're breaking up. I don't know.
I think she's frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you still hear us?
Barely.
We do now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're breaking up.
I
Oh,
think, not to totally complete Tina's thoughts, but I think she's correct in that, you know, if we want to provide a grace period, I think that's well within our prerogative. Maybe
Lori-
Augusta doesn't think that, but
Lori, can you go ahead and call Amy Chow and see if she can get some more give us some more legal advice on this? Maybe we could, you know, figure this out. I think that would be our first step, I believe. Because we all want you to succeed, and we all want to help you as much as we possibly can. That's always been our meaning, and we'll probably stick to that as far as we can. And hopefully we can find a way to continue this because we want to. And I think it would be good. I mean, it would be nice to have a little boost up from last year, if you know what I mean. So,
Thank you.
We're all in favor of that. So
Well, we appreciate.
we'll try to find out some more information, see what we can do.
Okay, and I appreciate that, Alan. I mean, we certainly we'll do whatever we can to help support your efforts. And if I can help at all on that state level, please let us know. We know that you'll do whatever you can to support us, but we have to be able to do it in a legal manner. So we're all happy to work together to make us, you know, be able to come through this season and try and have a season compared to what happened, you know, from last year. So thank you.
Absolutely. But yeah, well, thank you guys for coming, and we're going to see what we can do about this, see how far we can go and what we can do.
Okay.
Hopefully we can do the whole thing. I'm hoping.
Alan, so what would the next steps be?
I think that the first thing before we do anything, I mean, we're not meeting until, was it June 10th? Lori, is that our next meeting? And I think that I don't think the governor is going to make any decisions before then. So we're going to continue on the way we're going, I would assume. And hopefully before then, we'll find out legally what we can do and what we can't do. And hopefully we'll be able to help.
Okay.
Tina, on your part, if you do contact people up state-wise, let them know the circumstances and the peculiars and see what they say. Because it can't be just Kennebunkport.
No, it's not. I mean, and, you know, Portland is having some of the same type of issues. You know, they closed down streets, they've got sidewalks going. In Brunswick, they had a lot of outdoor dining, and the town council extended the privileges. So they voted to extend the privileges. So again, I guess I would just want to find out from the town lawyer, you know, where does the authority begin and end? Because this is probably, I would think, a pretty, for lack of all these words, an unprecedented time.
Right.
Absolutely.
So,
yes.
But yes, I will, Sheila. I'll check on the state level some more.
Yeah, good.
We definitely will do what we can for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You have another hand up as well.
Okay.
Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Taylor.
Hello, everyone again. I want to thank first everybody in the town for all these past season, working so fast to make all the crazy last minute changes happen and help us out in every way possible. It's comforting to see that everyone is very supportive of helping us succeed. I just wanted to express my concern the same as everybody else. We don't want to exceed our capacity. We just want to be able to do the amount of seatings we are allowed on our vitulis license. I think right now a lot of people are still worried about going inside, and even though we might want to move completely inside, they're not willing to do so. I'm still getting diners every day that tell me that it's the first time they've been out in 14 months. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's, I think everybody's aware of this, but I wanted to ask if we are going to be contacted once we reach out to the state level or we get a little bit more information about this, like if their businesses are requesting outdoor extension, are we going to be contacted by somebody from the town, or what should we do next?
Well, we're going to be having a meeting again in June on the 10th. And I know that I don't think that the governor is going to be deciding anything between now and then. She usually doesn't. She usually does it between the 12th and the 15th. So I think we're all set on there. But in the meantime, I think Lori's going to reach out to our town attorney and talk the situation over with her, and she'll get back to us, and maybe we can do an email or something like that.
Okay. And I just want to tell everyone, we don't want to do this forever. All we want to do is survive. All we're asking, I mean, we only want to do it this season. We want to be able to make it. It's been pretty rough as it's been. And so all we want to have is our full capacity between the outdoor and the indoor, try to keep everybody safe. I think we've all been working really hard on that, and it has been proven that outdoor has really helped on that side of things. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Is there any more hands?
I don't see any.
So, oh, there's Lori. You just moved over to the other side of the screen. I'm looking over here and you're not there. So, so you'll get a hold of Amy and see what she has to say about this. See if she can help us out.
Aye.
Okie dokie.
You know, Lori, also maybe even if you contact whomever up at the State Department and see if this, you know, extension.
Yeah, I did contact them this week to tell them that these are some of the outcomes that could happen.
Okay.
Anything else? No? Okay. Item 11, discussion of future board meeting. Would you like to take that, Lori? Or would you all?
The question has arisen as to whether or not we should continue to meet over Zoom, or when the Board of Selectmen, the Planning Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, Growth, Planning Committee will start to come back in person. And I have anticipated that I think people will be seeking for us to perhaps undertake a hybrid solution, meaning that there would be people in a meeting room and some people would be online, and we would connect these two and have a joint meeting. We can definitely have Zoom meetings, and we can definitely have in-person meetings. The capacity limits are no more. If you think people feel safe coming, I mean, these are all decisions for the board in terms of whether we would try to physically distance people still, or whether we would allow everyone back as normal, and put signs up that says, if you haven't been vaccinated, you should wear a mask, or ask the audience to wear a mask. And also that, I've been talking to Dave and Mike, our audiovisual team, about what other types of technology that would allow us to do some kind of a hybrid meeting. I have to tell you that people's expectations that we can do the same things that the big TV channels do is an unrealistic expectation. And just like on CSI, our police department can't solve a murder in 24 hours. And we can't have a simulcast going and have everybody hear perfectly and everybody see perfectly and hear the audience and hear the people at home. It's a lot to manage, and we just don't have that kind of equipment. So we certainly, on Zoom, everybody who wants to attend can attend from wherever. If we go back to our meeting room. You know, people can come in person or watch us on cable or YouTube like they did before. And I don't know if Michael or David have any comments about, you know, what some of those challenges are or concerns to share with you and the public. And I just want to say, because we deal with public process, meaning that people get to voice at a public hearing, this is their chance to speak. And I don't want to set the expectation that you can be at home or you can be in person and speak in here as well, because that could shut people out of a public process. And that's what really concerns me.
So what do you guys think? Do you want to continue with the Zoom meetings? Do you want to, I don't even think we could do, like you say, a Zoom meeting and a public meeting in person, and keep it so it's organized and not confusing.
The Zoom meetings are difficult enough.
Thank you. So,
and I did ask some of our board chairs their thoughts, and I did get concerns about trying to hold a public hearing on a controversial issue and having people at home and in person and trying to manage that. And I did get concerns that people are still feeling comfortable with Zoom, and that some people are not all vaccinated yet, so they're not sure how comfortable people would feel. I didn't hear an outpouring from our board chairs that yes, we should go back. But, certainly we're open to whatever direction you guys want to set.
So
we don't necessarily have to do all the boards in either direction, do we? I mean, we could meet in person and the other boards could meet virtually.
I have a suggestion. How about when the CDC says we reach 70% vaccinated, that we go back to our regular type meetings? I mean, that could be a couple of weeks or 3 weeks from now. I would feel comfortable with something like that. Because there are people that are still getting vaccinated, and there are people that are still getting COVID. I'd feel real comfortable, because from what I've been hearing, 70% is where is a good number to not see so many COVID cases. What do you guys think about that?
I would support that.
I think it gives us a little more time, not a lot of time, but a little more time, because we're at almost 60% right now. Sheila?
It makes no difference to me, whether it's like this or whether we go to the town.
Ed, what do you think about it?
I'd like to go back to meeting in person. I find these meetings cumbersome and I find it a bit odd. It's not the same. We get together and we meet, and It's more like a board. And I know we've been through a lot, and these were necessary. And in the beginning, I liked them a lot. I mean, hey, not to give too much away, but I'm sitting here in my pajamas. You can't do that over at the town, on North Street.
That's kind of,
But I have gotten feedback from people, and I've heard both. I'm not going to fight anybody on this, and if you guys want to wait to 70%, that's fine. But Alan, I do like that idea that it gives us a threshold so that we're not going to keep pushing this off and say we'll just continue to meet virtually.
I think it just gives us a goal to meet. It's not that, I don't think it's going to be that much longer, but give us a couple extra weeks, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not in favor of meeting on the 10th in person. If it were up to me, I would definitely say we wait till after town meeting to make a transition. But we certainly should probably discuss this at our next meeting.
Yeah, we can, definitely. So,
because I'm sure Mike has some input.
So, well, we're going to be meeting June 10th again anyway, so I guess we won't be doing anything about it. We'll just continue on the way we're going till then and see where the numbers fall and whatnot, and see if it's any better. What do you think about that, Lori?
I think, whatever you guys want to do, we're supportive of. I just want to be clear about expectations about these hybrid meetings.
Okay. Thank you. Any more discussion on it?
No.
Okay. So item 12, other business. Pat?
Nothing.
Sheila?
nothing.
Ed?
Nothing for me, thank you.
I have nothing. Lori, you have something?
I just remembered, I have a question. When I've around seeing some homes that have signs out saying for rent. I thought that that was prohibited by the town. Am I wrong?
Where is the rule guy, Warner Gilliam?
There are signs weekly rentals, you know.
Yeah. No, it's legal to have a sign, to have a sign advertising a home for rent.
Okay. That's
Under
true.
our new ordinance, provided that it passes, they'll have to have their license number on that sign, though, Sheila.
Oh.
Yeah, even just in general, just having if you just had a regular sign, out in front of your home that advertised it, for rent, that's permissible.
But I'm going back to when the town voted to allow people to rent out their bedroom, a bedroom or two. I thought that said no signs.
So you're referring to the residential rental accommodations, and so for those. So if you've received that as a license, you're correct there that they can't advertise individual rooms for rent. But if you're renting your house, or if you have a house that you're advertising it as available to rent, that's permissible. But if you're seeing some examples of advertising of individual rooms for rent, then certainly let us know where those signs are, and we're happy to take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Any more, Lori? I know I asked you, but I forget what you said.
I interrupted.
I just want to make sure people know that they need their beach stickers starting this weekend. And so Memorial Day weekend starts the summer season as well. We also have Tracy O'Rourke has worked on our town newsletter for the spring that we put out. And so it's been mailed, and so you should be getting copies in your mailbox. And if you need a hard copy, then stop by Town Hall. There's a lot of information in here about recycling. Our recycling committee is gearing up to put phase 2 out. And we have a recycling event coming on June 26th at Parks and Rec Building. And so there's a lot of good information in here about the do's and don'ts of recycling. And people who show up early will be able to score one of the most cherished possessions in town, which is a recycling bin. And I just want to thank staff for all the work they did this week to get us ready for the summer season. It's a lot, and they have really been pulling in the wagon hard this week.
I've heard that from a couple people. They're seeing people run. They were seeing the crew running around everywhere. A couple of guys were telling me about wanting to know what they were doing. Okay, is that it? Okay.
Move the warrants.
I have a first. I have a second. Okay, Sheila.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Alan says aye. Motion carries. Okay, we're going to be going into an executive session. Item 14, executive session per MRSA 1, Section 4056D for union negotiations. And another executive session, item 15, for discussion of disposition of real estate. There will be no decisions made, and after that, we'll be adjourning. So I'd like to have a motion, please, to go into executive session.
Second.
I have a first and I have a second. Sheila.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Alan says aye. Motion carries. So this is the end of our public meeting. Thank you very much for showing up, and we'll see you on the 10th.